First of all, we would like to welcome all our viewers wherever you are. If you are joining us from Sri Lanka, I wish you a very good evening and we warmly welcome each one of you. Yet another very interesting webinar, I would say, a good talk show, we assure you, with a lot of information, things to take home, things to practice. And also onto my right hand side, I have three couples. We actually, our whole team would like to welcome each one of you this evening. Thanks a lot for joining us. Let's start with this. I would say our theme tonight or this evening is about interfaith marriage, or popularly called as mixed marriages. If I'm to give you a small little description of this whole thing, I would say mixed marriage or mixed communion is something like this: a Catholic person getting married to a baptized non-Catholic. This is what mixed marriage means, or a mixed communion means. On the other hand, interfaith marriage means, or to put it this way, it's actually called in CCC, that is Catechism of Catholic Church, as disparity of cult. This means a Catholic person getting married to a non-baptized person. So tonight we have onto my right hand side Sajeewi and Annesley. Annesley is the Catholic party. Also Gayan and Ashanthi. Ashanthi is the Catholic party. And here we have Manjula and Tiloshi. Manjula is the Catholic party. All right, so the idea of this whole exercise is, or tonight's talk show is, basically to share their experiences. They all come from an interfaith marriage, share their experiences, what it is. Before that, I like to let you know about this. Now, Catholic Church actually encourages both parties to be Catholic. Both parties to be Catholic. This is the ideal scenario. So Catholic Church promotes, encourage, and they would like to see, they would wish to see both parties being Catholic. But we, living in a country like this, Sri Lanka, we have quite a lot of Buddhist people, let's say a percentage of somewhere in 70s or whatever, approximately. And then we have a Christian community about, let's say, 7% or whatever, or less than 8% or whatever. From that also, the Catholic percentage is smaller than that. So we have a big difference between these two. So it becomes a very obvious thing, or if you get into the ground situation, you will always come across a lot of interfaith marriages. So tonight, we are going to ask from these three couples who volunteered and said, yes, we would like to come and share our the way that we live our marriages. We would like to share very openly. So I'm going to ask from them a few little things as to how they are living their interfaith marriage. So to start things, I like to ask from Annesley, first of all. Knowing Annesley and Sajeewi, as I understand, has been married for about 4 years. So your early days of marriage, maybe you could still remember very well, I would say. Can I ask from you, Annesley, when you were sort of, proposing, or when you fell in love with Sajeewi, knowing that Sajeewi's parents, families, coming from a Buddhist background, and you coming from a Catholic background, your family, your father, mother, everybody coming from a Catholic background, how did it all go? I mean, did you ever come across any challenges and things like that? How did you sort of, see through those things? Can we hear from you?
Yes, Roshan. Yeah, we had challenges and difficulties before our marriage. Not even before our marriage, even after our marriage, we had some challenges. I think we both together, I think we were able to create those challenges and convert them to and brought them to a romantic stages. Because as Roshan said, we are together for last 4 years and we are blessed with a baby boy. When I had the first impression, when we had our first impression, I did not have any idea about what is her religion, what is her family background. So I think same as to Sajeewi. So later, when our parents came to know about our affair, as we expected and anticipated, there were rejections and there were rejections. So the reason for that is Sajeewi is attached to a strong Buddhist family, and he has a big family, mother, father with 6 siblings. So his father was so attached with the temple and headed many societies there, as well as his siblings so attached with their religion activities. Still, I can remember when her father came to know about our affair, what he said was, how can I face to the society, and how can I say that my daughter is going to marry a Catholic person? So those are the concern and issues that they had. Same as our family. I am from a Catholic family. My sister, he was a Sunday school teacher. My mother, of course, attached with many societies in the church. Even myself, so closely working with church and even in pastoral council. So there were some concerns with both parties. But gradually, later on, the both parties realized that no point of stopping and prevailing our affair. So still, I can remember what, first I have to mention that the sacrifice that both parties did, especially the parents. I can remember that Sajeewi's father, there was a fast close to their residence. So Sajeewi's father was trying to build a relationship with that faster to find out the cultural activities, find out about the Catholic culture, because they don't know the connection between the Catholic and the Christians. So anyhow, finally we were allowed to get married with the blessings of both parties, parents and relatives. We got married in church. Then after church, we had a Perera ceremony. It's a collaboration with both culture and both religion activities. So not only we both were able to overcome those challenges, our parents, our relatives, all were around us, and they help us to make our marriage success. So there are challenges. So it's a matter of how you respect each other's culture. It's a combination of both culture. Because our parents, they had to get used to other the Sajeewi's culture, and even Sajeewi's father and their parents, they had to get used to our culture. So it's a matter of how you respect each other religion and how you respect each other culture. So by having this combination, I think we had a good collaboration. With that good collaboration, I think we had made our marriage success.
Right. Thank you, Annesley. I think the key word there was about the sacrifices which the parents did and you all did. Thank you. Let me switch over to my next couple, that is Gayan and Ashanthi, and I like to ask this question from Gayan actually. Usually in interfaith marriages, something that takes place is that before the marriage, the non-Catholic party would agree in terms of the children's faith, when children are born, or before they are born, yes, I would agree to this, or whatever the plan is discussed and agreed. But often the case is after the children are born, things change or not. So I like to ask from Gayan, how was it like with you two, with the plan before the children came and after the children were born? And the last one is, how's it now?
Yeah, Roshan, that's a very good question, because children are one of the main things in an inter-religion family. So before you get married on an inter-religion marriage, you don't realize what the other religion is all about. So, for example, in our case or my case, you agree for anything before you get married. In case they don't want to marry you or something, you say yes. So you go and tell the church you'll give your kids to the church, and they'll get baptized. And then once you, of course, get married and you face those difficulties or challenges, and then once you have the kids, and then you do come to that challenging part whether you said the right thing or not, and that happens. I think that's I've seen that being one of the main challenges which everybody will have to face. So in ours, I also felt the same things, but as time came on and as we grew, even just a few years before the kids came in, you realize you have to honor what you have said in one sense. And the other thing also, based on what we've agreed, we've decided to get them to be baptized and go ahead. So likewise, they also go to temple also. So it's a common understanding, and if you work around the family and discuss those stuff, I think you can easily work it out. But at the same time, like you said, it can also be a very big issue if you want to make it and if you don't do the sacrifices at those times.
Right. Thank you, Gayan. Thank you for the sharing. Really appreciate you sharing what has happened within you two with our viewers. Great. I will switch over to the other couple. I would say Manjula and Tiloshi. Maybe this question would be for Tiloshi, I would say. And of course, Manjula can also chip in. Put it this way. Usually in an interfaith marriage, you have great plans, right? In the sense you think, okay, after we get married, we will go to church, or we will come here, or I will change like this, and so on and so forth. So you have great expectations, but that's all in the planning stage. But after you get married, chances are that what you expect may not happen in real time or in real life. It might not happen. And then you fall into a sort of a disappointment, or you get adjusted to it, or you live in that disappointment for the rest of your life. Would you like to share, or would you like to tell our viewers, was there anything like that, things that you expected but didn't turn up at the end of it, in the sense after this interfaith marriage happened? Was there anything that, which sort of, made your mind upset a little bit? No, I expected this, but it didn't happen. Anything like that?
Actually, Roshan, it's a very good question. There are bundles of things. Okay. But if you take out of these bundles of things, if you take the two critical things, I will take two critical things. Like Gayan said, when you are dating, you are not realizing anything. You are not giving priority to the religion. That is the key. You have to be truthful now, because that is your early stage in your life, like in your life cycle. When you are getting growth and the maturity stage, you tend to change. So I take two critical factors. One is going to church. Other one is how to bring up my daughter in Christian way. going to church, because I'm coming from a very good Catholic background, studied in a very good Catholic institution. So in my small days, my schooling days, I used to go church 3 days in a week. One is on a Thursday to Fatima Church, Tuesday Kochikade, and Sunday Mass. Then after I finish my schooling, when I start my career, then I used to shift to Infant Jesus on Friday, since that is very nearby to my office. So I used to go there. Kochikade, Infant Jesus. Then we start dating. Then I have to take her also. But that is not to take her to my religion or anything, just to take her to. But there are resistance also from her side. But gradually, after we got married, then we went to prayer meetings. She came, and also every Christmas Mass, then Easter Sunday, etc. All these key masses she came, but not Sunday Mass. Then that initially it was not a problem for me also, but when gradually, when you are getting, like I said, in your life cycle growth and maturity stage, I saw some a blank this thing in the church on a Sunday, because only myself and my daughter is going. Our nest is not full in the church. I see my friends coming with their full family. So then gradually, like I don't know. Then she really from I never demand or anything. She herself suddenly came into the scene on her own. That really triggered me. Now, as a family, we come to every Sunday. We go to Kochikade, we go to Infant Jesus, we go everywhere. So now it's full. Other factor was how to bring my daughter in the Catholic background, Catholic way, because I'm the father. Normally, children should be guided by the mother, especially on religion. Because I don't have time, actually speaking. In that way, I was like thinking it was a big challenge for me, like reciting the rosary, saying prayers, going to church, everything. But all of us, like when time goes on, and she took the initiative, and she took part on reciting the rosary. She was helping everything, and that really helped us to keep our, like, we don't have any, we actually, the key thing is we didn't compromise anything. It was support each other. It was supporting. So I think Tiloshi might chipping in and say, I think she's the best person to say how all these things are happening.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Roshan. Initially, I did not like going to church because being a Buddhist, and Buddhism is all about a philosophy, right? And so I was following the doctrine very strictly, and I didn't like going to church because I never liked worshiping trees, worshiping statues. That was not my thing. So I did not like going to church. So when I used to accompany him to church, I used to stand outside. He used to go inside, pray, and come. Even when he offers me a candle, I just refused to light it, right? So that was the start. And then everything took a different turn with the birth of our daughter, right? Because we initially decided the faith that she should follow in. It was a joint decision that I agreed with Manjula that she should follow the father's religion. So with that, I thought that I should get serious. I should give her a good head start, and she should have a good Catholic background and very good strict upbringing in Christianity. So I became very serious, and then I thought this is all nonsense. I should be very practical because we are in a mixed marriage. He's a Catholic, I'm a Buddhist. So there should be some kind of cooperation, I should start like, joining them with church activities. So initially I started going for the key services like Christmas and Easter. But then I thought this is not going to work. I should start going. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like you just go for these key events, but you should go for Sunday Mass. Then I started going to Sunday Mass. So because also the fact that I didn't want to ignore the religious difference also, because there's a difference. And I thought I should get involved in all these activities as a mother. And then I started going to church with them and then taking part in, it went into the extent of like, going for prayer meetings, retreats, like, when she was very small, I accompanied them, I joined them in Chalakudi. I think she was barely 4 years. Right? So that's how it all started.
Right. Thank you very much, Manjula. Thank you very much, Tiloshi. That was great. A good description of things, how it all started and then how it is now. All right, I'm shifting to this side once again for the second round of little questions that I'm going to ask, this time around from Sajeewi. This is actually something that happens or what we hear today in interfaith marriages, I would say. You have this, the complaint at times, either the Catholic party is trying to convert the Buddhist party to the Catholic religion, or the Buddhist party is trying to convert, the Catholic party to the Buddhist religion. It could be either way. Just want to ask from you, was there any sort of, that sort of a push coming from Annesley to you, asking you or forcing you to get converted to the Catholic religion? Can we ask for you?
Simply say no. Roshan, marriage based on love, love based on trust. So marriage based on love, trust, and understanding. In my belief, it's not based on religion, caste, race, or any other thing. But to protect love and understanding, trust, religion, they should have a religion and yes, religion. We should have a religion to protect love and trust. Comes to a question, before our marriage or after our marriage, I was never influenced or for I love Catholic culture because religion is a part of a culture. I loved that culture, and when we were in love, I realized and I knew that Annesley is so attached to the church and the activities, but I didn't want to stop him, and I wanted to Annesley to continue same activities. And when he goes to church, I used to go with him, and when I go to temple, he comes with me, and no any conflict between us because of religion. And we celebrate Christmas together, and we celebrate Vesak together, and we celebrate a New Year together, and that variety is so beautiful, and both we are enjoying that variety. And also main thing is I respect his religion and he respects my religion. So that's the main thing.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, Roshan, to add thing, as Sajeewi said, because conversion is not required, because as far as she support me, as far as I support her on on our religion activities, I think that that's the main thing we need to have. To add something, because I have understand the trust and the faith she has on God, because as she said, whenever I go to church, she used to come with me, Sometimes when she's unable to come, whenever I go to Eucharistic church, when somebody, his relatives or known person in trouble or in needing prayer, she used to tell me, honestly, when you go to church, just remember that person, he is in trouble. So that sort of a faith and trust she has. So when you have that sort of a faith and trust, so why don't you want to convert that person? She's already there, I think.
All right, thank you very much. That last sentence was a good sentence to come up with this as an answer for this question. All right, I'm switching over to once again Gayan and Ashanthi. Often the case, once again, is children in an interfaith marriage usually follows the parent. I'm telling you, usually follows the parent who really practices the religion, right? Who really practices the religion. Now, understanding Gayan comes from Buddhist background and Ashanthi coming from Catholic background. With your two children, how has that been? I mean, the children, which parent, is following whose religion, how did you sort of, tackle this thing?
Yeah, like I said, I made the mistake first now, whatever the confirmation before. Yeah, more than that, I wasn't brought up on a very religious family. So when I got involved with Ashanthi and then realized also while we were getting ready to get married and everything that her family is more religious. Her father goes to church every Sunday, and so I got involved in going to church. And then of course you learn things of what you do at church and not. So there are certain things you do, certain things you respect to do. So we've continued to do that. So like I told you before, so one of the things, and being a male also, and generally people tend to get the kids to follow the male's religion or something. I mean, that's general thing. But what I've realized is, and when the kids come in, you tend to question whether you want them to be Buddhist or Christian or whatever. So like I said before, we've decided, I've also agreed to get my daughter to be baptized and continue on that. And also to see, because if I am not practicing religion as much, and if wife is practicing, I think it is also good for the family to practice as one, so the kids also has some sort of a background, because it is good for kids to have a religious background. Yes. So it helps, and so I've seen that while the kids grow up. So then of course when you have the second child, the question was whether I'm going to have one Christian, one Buddhist, and continue that, because that's also sometimes they do that. So I was quite in start adamant to sort of go down that line. Then later on I realized that how the younger one looks up to the elder one, and then how the younger one looks forward to going and getting Holy Communion and things like that, and following the same thing. So then it will be bit unfair to get one person to go on one direction and the other person to go on another direction. So therefore I've also agreed, so let him also go. And then as we grew on, then the religion was never an issue, in the sense it was never an issue in school for them. And I mean, they, like I said, they go to temple. Ashanthi knows more Gatha than I do, so then so that's also, so we don't have issue. We never saw issue. So then if they want to be Christian or go on the Christian path, so like you said, we encouraged the parent who was leading on the religious thing to follow that, and that's helped. Otherwise they wouldn't get the same religious background as they should.
Right.
So
anything Ashanthi wants to say something?
Yeah, I just want to chip in here, Roshan. What I've seen, this is my experience with some of the family members and some of the friends, that when the children are in true religion, there's been like, I've experienced disparity and disunity among them. So I think we agreed, and we kind of, went along whether, and also I'm involved with the church as well. And we allowed them to, on Poet Days, we allowed them to go to Dhamma school. There's a friend who does, in where we live, does Dhamma, classes. So we really, I think, work, in harmony and in understanding. Yeah, that's pretty much.
That's good. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for Gayan's input and that little addition that you gave. Thanks a lot indeed. I'm swinging over to the other side. Once again, my far right couple, Tiloshi and Manjula. Let me ask from you this particular thing. We cannot hide this particular thing that I'm going to ask. Now, when two people come from two different religions or religious backgrounds, has it ever sort of affected your married life? Two people coming in from two different religions, has it ever affected your married life? I mean, married for so many years, has it ever? Maybe 1, 2, 3. Have you ever come across?
Yeah, Roshan, it's a very good question. I wouldn't say like no, right? But I wouldn't say yes to, right?
Okay.
Because it has always been like, me coming from a very traditional Buddhist background, and the deeply held traditions, values, and all these beliefs that comes along with Buddhist upbringing. I used to miss celebrating festivals,
Okay.
like
so
taking, that's right, taking the auspicious time during New Year. So I used to miss all that because he used to plan holidays during that time. So we, with friends and family, we go out on trips, and sometimes we celebrate New Year in hotels. And back then my mom also was living with me, and she also did not like it, like, going out to a hotel and celebrating New Year. That was never a cup of tea, So then he was not giving much pride and place to those things. And then, gradually, I think he realized that he should give me also the chance to celebrate these festivals. So gradually, he started staying at home during the festival times, and he is now very excited about this auspicious time, the color that we should wear, and when Vesak comes, like, putting the lanterns, illuminating the house, hoisting the Buddhist flag. Even if I forget, he remembers me, like, he reminds me, you should do this, you haven't done, like that, So in these instances, like, we always cooperated, actually. We never compromised, because compromising meaning like something hard and fast. You're compelled, like, you're forced to do. But here it is through understanding that we decided, like, to celebrate these things jointly. So that is the key thing, that a key ingredient, I would say, that kept us like going, like, without having any conflict or resentments.
Great. I think, I think the point where when you said cooperating is better than compromise, and he started respecting, I think these are key things in any marriage. Manjula wants to tell something?
Yeah, actually, Roshan, what Tiloshi said was correct, because it all happens, like I said in earlier also, in the early stages. All these things are new to anybody. So for me also, it was new. So, and also since I was coming from a very traditional and Catholic background, so these taking auspicious time, those things were not in my calendar. So I used to use my tactics to take her out on New Year, especially on New Year. But now, after all, now I personally, I see that these things are common, because these things has to be happen. Now with my daughter coming into our life, and she's also looking forward to certain values and beliefs of Sri Lankan culture, since she was studied in an international school. So I thought, like, oh, why not we'll celebrate all these things together. And also, she also now looking forward for these things to wear the red hat and all for a Auruthu and also Vesak to light these lanterns, all these things. So I take this as a Vesak as a festival of lights and colors, and Urdu as another Sri Lanka. Actually it's not a, it's a Sri Lankan New Year. It's a common thing. We should understand that, and we will all celebrate together. Then it's very easy for us to the harmony will be there. So if you really understand these things, but it took time, Roshan. It didn't come in a very early stages. It took really a lot of time.
Right. Thank you very much, Manjula, for that that little addition. All right, I'm switching over to my closest couple once again onto my right hand side. All right, married for 4 years, I would say. Living in an interfaith marriage, knowing, you know, young couples around you. I like to sort of bringing in a scenario like this. Let's say a couple comes to you. This couple is also in an interfaith marriage. You know, one party is a Catholic person, and let's say the other party is a Buddhist person. And then they see you, how you live, and you know what is from outside, what you show, they see. And they come to you walking and ask from you, Annesley, look, we two are getting married, or Sajeevi, we two are getting married. We are also just like you in an interfaith marriage. What good advice can you two give us? If they throw that question to you, what would you like to tell them?
Yeah, Roshan, being a part of interfaith marriage and having enjoying this, so I would say that coming back to your introduction, Roshan, you mentioned that in Sri Lanka we have less than 8% of population is Christians. So in country like this, there are mixed marriages. And there will be. The reason is the less number of population belongs to our religion. So what sort of advice I give you is, definitely when you are in an interfaith marriage, you need, there are some extra steps that you have to make, not like in normal marriage. One thing is you have to continue with your religion, and you have to build your faith that you had earlier. The other thing is you have to support your spouse and your children to continue with their religion and whatever the activities they had earlier. So as far as you have this collaboration with cultures and religion, as far as you respect each other's religion and their activities, I think there won't be any conflict. So you can have a peaceful life. So it's a matter of, as I said earlier, it's a matter of how you sacrifice yourself. And there are things to be sacrificed, because as these two couples spoke, they have made a lot of sacrifices. So if you are selfish, and if you try to get your children to your religion, and if you don't allow your children to, when it's come to a story, if I am not allowing my children to go to temple, or there are some occasions that, as examples, let's say that my children is getting close to go for the preschool. So when we had a discussion, I said that before going for preschool, let's have some freeze in our home and get a blessings. So what she was okay, no rejections, she was okay. But then I thought she did not make any request from me, but I told her, do you need someone from your religion to come and have a blessing? She was expecting that, but she didn't tell me. So I told her, yes, of course you can have some monks and to have a gatha, the Pirit ceremony. So that sort of a collaboration, I think you need to have, Roshan. So as far as you have this collaboration, that's the success of interfaith marriage.
All right, so that's the message that you like to give to this couple who walks to you asking for some advice. This is what you would be giving. Thank you, Annesley, for that. All right, I'm switching over to my couple who is in the middle. That's Gayan and Ashanthi this time around. The mic goes to Ashanthi, so Ashanthi is going to answer this time. This is a question, as I understand, from my team members. Ashanthi happens to be a leading figure in the Sunday school, I believe, at Pelawatte, and then also a member in CRL, Community of the Risen Lord, and then also in so many other church activities around. Now, having a spouse or having your husband from the Buddhist religion, and you being involved in so many activities, question comes, does Gayan actually say okay to it, or is putting up his hand and saying, yes, I support, or he says, no, you have to look after your home things, this, that, Can you tell us where you are in this?
Okay, Roshan, thank you for that question. I think with experience, if you're in an interfaith marriage, your spouse can be okay with your faith, or your spouse can help with your faith. So I'm a lucky one. Gayan has been very, helpful. I think he has strengthened me, in my faith. I'll tell you why actually I'm saying that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm volunteering at the Sunday school as a teacher, and it's St. John del Bastone Sunday School, and we have about 300 plus students, both English medium and singular medium, and we have about 35 teachers. And a couple of years ago, our parish priest, Reverend Father Anthony Fernandez, asked me to take over as a head teacher in the Sunday school. I think that was like a bombshell in my head. I was not at all ready for it. I wasn't ready, honestly. And so many things were running behind my mind. I was actually thinking, back of my mind, you're not only getting involved in the Sunday school, that means you're getting involved in so many church activities, so many associations. Your time is given, not only Sundays, the weekdays, maybe evenings sometimes. A lot of sacrifices you have to make, and where the family is concerned, etc. So I actually went to the Blessed Sacrament and prayed to the Lord, saying, Lord, if you can just take this away from me, I'm not ready for it. And yeah, he did hear my prayer though, but he answered me also, but not in the way I expected.
All right.
Yeah, and it was like he changed the things around me. The Lord changed things around me. So when I came home and told God, this is what Father has asked me to do, I expected him to pull, a bit upset or something. But he was actually encouraging, and that was really surprising to me. I didn't expect it at all. It was like, he encouraged me and said, so if you are given a chance, well, just try and do it. It's fine. And so for the 3 years I've been the head teacher, he has supported me in many ways. And I know for a fact that he and the children, did sacrifice a lot where my work is concerned in the church. But he has been always supportive. And the other thing, it's also very rare. I myself, being married to a spouse of a different faith, my secretary, Janita, is also married to a Buddhist. So, but we really worked together, and she and I, seamlessly worked. Her husband is also was very supportive. And I remember, I was fortunate enough to work very close with Father Anthony Fernandez, Father Janaka Costa, Father Ravindashana. They saw Gayan, they respected Gayan for what he was and how he supported me with all my work in the church. And also, I just want to share a bit of a thing that we are doing. This we started when we got married. Every night before we go to sleep, we hold our hands and say a Hail Mary before we fall asleep. And when we go out of the house, we say a prayer at the altar. So now, even if I, fall asleep early and Gayan comes in later, I suddenly, feel, somebody mumbling something, holding my hand in the night. And and then also, if I forget to pray when we go out, he says, are we not praying? So, we go back and pray and go out. Yeah. And all in all, with all the challenges in the family life, I think a lot of grace has come through us, and it's beautiful. And I mean, we as a couple sharing of, personal experience, our family personal experience with all of you, it's a living testimony for all the glory for God.
Thank you very much, Ashanthi. Thanks a lot indeed. It was a very good description. And the key thing is support. Not saying okay or no rejection, but support. So thanks a lot indeed, Ashanthi. Thanks a lot indeed, Gayan. All right, I'm just reading over to my last couple or far right couple. This time around, I would like to ask this question from Tiloshi. Sort of, hearing the last two answers from you too, I'm tempted to ask this question. Gayan, Manjula was telling that, how he got accustomed, to doing things, to respect what you were doing before in terms of your religion, the festivals and things like that. And you yourself told me or shared with all of us how you sort of, stayed outside the church and how you came inside and how you are into retreats and how this family is coming up. Can I ask this question from you? From where are you drawing this strength to have this change, to get this thing, corporate and to put marriage on top? From where are you drawing strength?
Yeah, Roshan, it's a very good question, and I like it. I really like it. The inspiration is drawn from the respect and the deep understanding that we have towards each other's faith. And also the fact that how we practice our own faith. You see, how we practice our own faith. Another thing that we have never privatized our religious beliefs. We openly discuss the similarities, the common characteristics and the common teachings, because there are so many common things between Christianity and Buddhism, right? All good things, right? So since our daughter is also big now, we draw her also into these discussions. Right. And it's like, when she gives her views and all that, it's very invigorating and enlightening. It's very invigorating. So as such, my understanding of their religion and their understanding of my religion has extended to a very great landscape with time. We have been married for 22 years. It has grown. It has grown. And it had gone to the extent like now I take part in prayers. When they recite the rosary, I'm there. And also when they do a holy hour. And it had gone to that deep extent of me venerating the Holy Cross on Good Friday. It had gone to that extent, and I do it with great respect to Jesus. And it comes deep within. I would say this is very honest confession, I would say. It just comes. And I must mention, being a Buddhist, like we of course believe in a philosophy, but then being a Buddhist, I have felt, and we as a family have experienced the grace that we receive from above, blessings in so many ways, and we have experienced that, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Great, good to hear that answer. Grace coming from the Lord. Manjula picked up the mic. Looks like he wants to add something.
just to wind up this entire thing, Roshan. We are married for 22 years. So we are betting on for 22 years. So I wanted to give a message to the viewers who are into the interfaith marriage, who are going to be into the interfaith marriage, that if you want to have a successful interfaith marriage, you have to have a very good understanding of your own religion and a basic understanding of the other religion. This together will keep you alive.
Great. Thank you very much. This prompts me, having this last 40 minutes or 45 minutes or so, listening to your sharings. I feel like asking this question. Maybe you could answer me in one word or in two words at the most. We'll start from this side. Getting into if an interfaith marriage, I mean, you are living in an interfaith marriage, and there could be lots of viewers over here listening to this program, watching this program in an interfaith marriage. One thing that you think in an interfaith marriage you should have, one thing, one word, what can you say? Or maximum two words, no more than that.
Respect for each other's religion.
All right, thank you very much. So respect is something that you would like to say. Looks like Gayan would like to answer. Gayan, in one word or maximum in two words, what do you think in an interfaith marriage this should be a must?
Probably more than two words, but
no, keep it in two words.
Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy each other's religions. You can enjoy that.
All right, okay. Ashanthi wants to say something? Just one word or maximum two.
Okay, this is sacrificial love.
All right, sacrificial love. Right, I would like to ask from Tiloshi and Manjula also, in one word, something that you think compulsorily you should have if this interfaith marriage is to work.
Yeah, just in one word, understanding.
Understanding. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Let me tell you a few things from my side also for all the viewers and to my three couples who are on this side. Like I told you, interfaith marriage is something where a Catholic gets married to a non-baptized person. These days, we have a test series going on between Sri Lanka and Bangladeshis. Sri Lankans support Sri Lankans, Sri Lankan team. So similarly, the Catholic Church encourages the Catholic parties to get married, both people to be Catholic. But the reality is a little different. We cannot hide this thing. We cannot put this under the carpet. Because of this big difference that we have in the population, like I started, more than approximately 70% or whatever being Buddhists, and less than 8% being Christians, and less than that also becoming Catholics, it is quite difficult. It's a challenge. We will continue to see interfaith marriages. Tonight, we had three couples who are in interfaith marriages, sharing their experiences and showing us how they have lived their interfaith marriage for all these years, 22 years down to 4 years, they have shown. Some days back or during the last week, I had a telephone call from a couple, actually from this particular lady. And she is in an interfaith marriage. She was crying over the phone. She was telling me in her interfaith marriage, she is the Catholic party and he is the non-Catholic party. And she was telling me how she is being asked not to go to church, how she is being thrown into domestic violence. Very sad to hear. So we have lots of people out there living in interfaith marriages with issues. Now, if you get into the Catholic Church, if you listen to the people who are involved in the tribunal, they say that there's a fair amount of couples, or fair amount of marriages, interfaith marriages especially, finding difficult to live the marriage and looking for separation, seeking for separation. That's the ground reality. One of the things that you find, there could be many, finances, maybe the relations, family backgrounds, I would say your sort of upbringing, and then another factor is the religion, the faith factor. These factors are very crucial to keep a family together. So when this important faith element becomes two different things, this becomes sometimes a recipe for issues. Fortunately, these three couples, they haven't had, or what they had in the early part, they managed to iron it out because of the understanding that they had, because of the sacrifice that they had, so many good things that they had. But it might not be the case with lots of other couples. This is one of the reasons that the Catholic Church is identifying, if you want to have a good life, because as it is, marriage gives you a lot of challenges. Just imagine when this marriage comes with two people with two different faiths, what it can bring in more. So you need to have a lot of wisdom. You need to have a lot of understanding. Like this three couples said, understanding, sacrifice, commitment, lot of things you need to have if this interfaith marriage is to work. It is very important. But having said that, I must tell, Matthew chapter 5, Jesus said, God gives Son to everyone, to good and the bad, to everyone. Whether you are a Sri Lankan, or whether you are an Indian, or whether you are a British, or whatever, God gives his Son to everyone, and the rain to everyone. Similarly, you could be living in an interfaith marriage. You need not be worried about it. God is there with grace. Because if you could hear three important things, if you listen very carefully, just a little analysis which I did when I was listening to these three couples, I came to understand this. Each non-Catholic party is supporting the Catholic party to have his or her faith. Very important, number one. Number two is Catholic party in each of these three couples continue to practice the Catholic religion. Number two. Number three is about children. Each one of these couples said their children are baptized and they are supporting the children to have the Catholic religion. So here we have three couples who are into, I would say, fulfilling all these three great requirements. But out there could be couples who does not satisfy or who does not fulfill any of these three things. So tonight we have tried to give you a message with three couples who are living in an interfaith marriage for a lot of time, many years, what their experiences are. I have also told you what the ground situation is. And I have also told you what the Catholic Church desires. They would like to see both parties in a marriage being Catholics. With that little note, I would say I would like to wind up, thanking all three couples here, coming forward and sharing the personal things, how you have been living all these years in this institution. Thank you very much indeed, coming forward. And I also like to thank our team over here, who is behind us. I would like to say, would like to sort of hand it over back to Manon, who would do the last things, or who would speak to you the last few words.
Thank you, Roshan. And thank you for all the three beautiful couples who volunteered to join this webinar and share their life's experiences. There were two questions, but they were answered through the panel discussions. There's one question I just want to put to Roshan and probably the three couples. Being in an interfaith marriage, how have they managed their sacramental life? Has that impacted? So probably one of the couples can share their views because of the time restrictions.
All right, okay. Let me quickly switch it over to get Ashanthi to answer that question. And after that, I will add a little bit into it. Okay, Ashanthi didn't hear the question properly. Okay. Manon, can you repeat the question once again?
Yes, Ashanthi, the question is, how has being in an interfaith marriage, how has it impacted the sacramental life from a Catholic point of view?
Right. I'll just relate to my experience, my personal experience. Okay, we have the sacraments. They're very important. As a Catholic, I believe sacraments are the most important to lead a spiritual life, to build your spiritual life, and also it flows in a lot of grace. Just as an example, I make my confession. I try to make my confession at least once a month. And if I tell Gayan, I need to go to church to make a quick confession, he would never say no, and of course, we go to church together all the time. The Holy Mass is important for us. And our children, both of them receive communion when the small one has his communion. So the sacramental life gives us grace. And I firmly believe that. And it is very, very important.
All right, let me add. Yes, Manon. All right, Ashanthi, thanks a lot for that answer. I think this is one of the very key questions I would say this particular person has asked. Marriage is one sacrament out of the 7 sacraments that we have in Catholic Church. But I would bring this little example for everyone to understand it better. Now, let's say I went to a Catholic school. So when I go to my Catholic school, the Catholic school has got certain rules. You need to come before 7:30. You need to stay in school till 1:30. So there are some rules which you have to sort of obey. Similarly, the Catholic Church tells, other than you two are Catholics, or for that matter, if you are a Catholic and the other person is from a mixed communion or a mixed marriage, which means he or she is a baptized person and he or she comes from a mainline church, that marriage has got this particular sacrament where the sacrament is there, right? So both parties becoming Catholics, definitely there is a sacrament. But in an interfaith marriage, there is no sacrament. In an interfaith marriage, marriage does not become a sacrament. But I must add this. This answer I saw in each one of you actually this night. Catholic Party, the way that this Catholic Party has lived, Annesley, Ashanthi, Manjula, the other non-Catholic party has seen God through this person. If you could sort of recall the answers that they gave. So this great invitation has come from this Catholic party for the other person to see Christ through them. So that invitation has gone and that invitation has worked, I would say. Each person has started, coming into the church, giving their children the Catholic faith and getting them baptized. It's a question, a very good question, I would say. Whoever who asked this particular answer, interfaith marriage does not have this sacrament, but sacrament of matrimony does not have, but there is a great invitation for the non-Catholic party from the Catholic party to come into this.